A boy came to the rabbi to ask, why do rabbis always answer with a question? To which the rabbi replied, why not? That always gets me. So yes, this is Shivah, and I'm going to read the intro and I'll explain it to you. The night sky above Manhattan will never win any awards. The few stars visible looked lonely and desperate, and I could relate. Sometimes the line between salvation and damnation is a mighty fine one. I no longer knew which side I stood on. There are those who would say that I had no business being there. They might be right. Okay, I missed it. Sorry, I skipped one there, but oh well. But I'm fairly sure I know who I am. Shivah. So this is a point-and-click adventure that has quite an interesting and deep story. It's a bit short, but that's why I thought I could get the entire game recorded and I could give it to you over the weekend. So we're going to start a new game and we can listen to the intro. So let's unravel the mystery. So you play as a rabbi, and you have to, well, you'll see. We play as the rabbi though, so let's start the game. It began as many things do, with a song.
Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra lied nasav cheltso kol atzai melech shemo nikra.
His final note faded off into the near-empty synagogue, unheard by anyone. As I had heard hundreds of times before this, I got ready to speak. And as I had hundreds of times before this, I began to wonder why.
Thank you, Cantor Kaplan. Today in my sermon I'd like to discuss suffering. Why do bad things happen to good people? Wherever there is pain or oppression or poverty, the question is always the same. How could God let this happen? Is God as good as we think? Can He, in fact, do evil? Maybe, on occasion, He even enjoys inflicting pain. I
took a good hard look around my world. So yeah, this rabbi is a bit depressed with how things are going. No one's taking his words seriously, and people in his small synagogue are even falling asleep. For those of you who don't know, synagogue is a Jewish church. No, I'm not Jewish, it's just a game. I play games. That's why I'm playing it, if you're wondering why. And then it hit me.
No. I can't do this. I'm sorry.
Rabbi?
You heard.
Huh? What?
Go home, Mrs. Raymer.
Is it over already?
Yeah.
Rabbi Stone, wait! You can't just stop.
Sure I can. Just watch me.
But
It's over, Josh.
you can't mean that.
Look, you're a good kid. You've got a good voice and a good future. Don't let me hold you back. Now do a mitzvah and call Mrs. Raymer a cab. Goodbye, Josh.
Ethical dilemmas have plagued religious leaders since the dawn of time. But morals don't mean crap without personal experiences to back them up. Knock knock. So, we get our first set of dialogue options. Give the brush off, state the obvious, or declare your intentions. So let's try and give him the brush off.
Go away.
Knock knock knock. Let's state the obvious.
Services are cancelled.
Obviously this fucker ain't gonna go away, so we're gonna restate the obvious.
I repeat, services are cancelled.
Grudgingly acquires.
Fine, I'm coming.
Oh, so yes, we need to actually initiate that and walk over. So it is a point-and-click adventure, that's how things work, and now we're going to see the man.
I thought I told you to go home.
Rabbi Stone, there's someone here.
Tell him to get lost. There's no service tonight.
No, it's a cop.
Huh?
Detective Sam Durkin, Midtown South Precinct. Could I talk to you for a few minutes, Rabbi Stone?
So yes, you can give a variety of responses, and if you remember at the start of the game, a rabbi always answers a question with a question, so I'm going to be a bit of a dick face. Rabbinical response.
Is there some sort of problem, officer?
I'd just like to ask you a few questions.
Fine. Josh, take a hike. So, what can I do for you? I assume you're not here to convert.
Are you familiar with a Mr. Jack Lauder?
Should I be?
I'm asking the questions, Rabbi.
Fine. Let me think. Lauder. Oh.
You know him.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about him?
He used to belong to this congregation.
Used to, but not anymore?
No. Left about 8 years ago, I think. What's this about?
Have you had any contact with him since?
No, I haven't. Care to fill me in here?
Do you read the papers?
So yes, there's a man, Mr. Lauder, so let's give an honest response, since he is a cop and we don't want to get our ass thrown in jail, so we'll give an honest response.
Not recently.
So, you're not aware, Rabbi Stone, that Jack Lauder has been dead for 3 days?
I did my best to control myself. I knew this man's type. His eyes scanned my face like a barcode reader, trying to read every telltale sign of emotion, any flicker, any twitch that could be used against me later. So yes, the cop is scanning us, he is looking, he is assessing us, and he wants to know what makes us tick. So let's investigate further into what he has to say to us.
No.
Does that bother you?
Should it?
Answer me, Stone.
No.
So, you and Mr. Lauder weren't close?
No, we weren't. What's the deal, Durkin?
I've seen Lauder's will. He left you a significant amount of money.
There is a good reason why this would have thrown the rabbi here, because he has a history with Mr. Lauder, but we'll find out about that later. I'm just throwing that out. But instead we're going to give a rabbinical response, because we are a rabbi, and it's always funny to answer a question with a question. Why are you always answering questions with questions? Why not, boy? Anyway, let's give a rabbinical response.
He left me money? Is this a joke? Are you joking with me, detective?
No, I'm not joking.
How much?
I don't have the exact amount, but somewhere in excess of 10,000.
Bull.
It's the truth.
Jack wouldn't give me bubkiss, let alone $10,000.
And why is that, Rabbi Stone?
He just wouldn't.
Huh.
So obviously these...
This temple's in pretty sad shape, isn't it, Rabbi?
Well, you're not blind, that's for sure.
Can you afford the repairs?
So obviously, things aren't good here. He left us a lot of money, and he's dead. You can see why, Mr. Rabbi here is starting to look like a bit of a subject. But we're going to give a brush-off response, because we don't really want the law on our back, and we'll see how he takes that.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Detective Durkin. And if that's all, I suggest you leave.
Rabbi Stone, you didn't answer my question.
Life's full of disappointments. You'll get over it.
Rabbi Stone.
Get out of my office.
Listen.
No, you listen. I know where this is going, and I don't like it.
I'm just doing my job.
Yeah, you're a real mensch. Get out of here.
Fine. I'll leave, Rabbi Stone. But I'll be back.
Yeah, I bet you will.
I like the occasional bits of Yiddish it intersperses into its conversation, as it makes things interesting and gives it flavour.
Putz.
Putz. It's things like that. It's things like that that make this game slightly beautiful. The rain beat an irregular scatteau rhythm against my window, but I could only hear one thing. Jack Lauder. Jack Lauder. The name pulled out a cork in my brain, letting loose 1,000 thoughts and memories that fought and struggled for supremacy. Jack Lauder. It was more than just a name. It was a link to a time when things were simpler. A time when I thought I had it all figured out. A time when morals and ethics meant something. A time before it all turned to crap.
I need to think.
So yes, we need to think. So you can either left click on something and you'll go up and use it, and he'll give a response like this. There was nothing in the bookshelf I wanted, or you can right click and try and look at it. So he'll look at it, my collection of rabbinical texts and prayer books, Judaic history, and Harry Kelmerlin novels. So what you want to do is access the computer. This is the first thing I want to be doing. Josh set this computer up a few weeks ago. He claimed I needed to join the 21st century and connect with the community. Josh had been bugging me to start using it. I suppose now was as good a time as any. If only I could remember what Josh chose as my login and password. Okay, if you move up to the top of the screen, you can look at your stuff. So first of all, we have a business card. R Stone, so I'm guessing that's our login, and that's how you work out login, so we can type in R Stone. Now, let's get a clue. Is busybody. So, what's a busybody? Well, we also have a Yiddish dictionary, which is nice. So, Yenta, a busybody, and that's how you work out that, Yenta. It's hard to read some of this on the screen, like, even I'm finding it hard. So, let's look through these. What happened? No, search. What was the guy's name? Jack. So we'll do a search for Jack. We'll try Lauder. There we go. And so searching for this, we find Jack Lauder contact information, and we get an address, and we also get a notification of his murder. Jack Lauder of Beth Tikva was found dead last night in Midtown office, victim of an assault by person or persons unknown. We at Raven express our sympathies for Jack's friends and family. So we can now power that down, and we can go and look for, I guess the next stop is to go see Jack. Jack's wife, because we need to go see the family and hopefully clear our name. So let's go outside and see what happens. So yeah, there are animations as you walk through doors, and we're going to speak to Josh again.
Wow, Rabbi, what was that all about?
Truthful response. He's our friend. We should be truthful to our friends.
The detective had some questions for me, that's all.
So who was killed?
Josh, what did I tell you about listening at my door?
I wasn't, Rabbi, honest. You were just very loud.
Huh.
So who was killed? Was it that Lauder guy?
Let's see. We'll give a rabbinical response because acting like a rabbi is always fun, answering questions with questions and being excessively cryptic.
Do you think so?
Yeah. Who else could it be? I heard you talking about him.
Huh. We must have talked very loud.
Well, yeah. So who is he?
An old member of this congregation.
Ah, that's too bad.
Yeah, well, it happens to the best of us.
Are you gonna pay a Shivah call?
I don't think there will be a Shivah, Josh.
Why?
Shivas are for Jewish families. Just forget it.
Alright, if that's what you want. I guess I'll go now.
Yeah. Good night, Cantor.
Night, Rabbi.
So yeah, I'm not exactly sure what Shivah is. I don't know much about Jewish culture. I vaguely remember what I learned in school. $10,000. Less than 20 minutes ago, I had accepted defeat. The bank was going to foreclose on the property, and there was nothing I could do. Jack's money had changed all that. The B'nai Ben Zion synagogue could remain open. I wouldn't have seen my life's work turn into a shopping mall or a parking lot.
Has God answered my prayers?
The age-old question. Was it the work of God, or was it the work of man? That money was a boon, there was no doubt about that. But it was blood money, and I couldn't believe God would work that way.
I don't like it. Not one bit. Why, Jack? Why me? Why now?
So yeah, obviously there are all implications to this money, because it's blood money. He only got it because Jack was killed. They say God helps those who help themselves. And that I had done absolutely nothing to get this money. I didn't trust it. Suddenly the cantor's words came back to me.
A Shivah call. I can't just barge in unannounced. But I can pay a Shivah call. It's the only way.
So yes, I'm going to pay a Shivah call because, oh, I think I vaguely remember what a Shivah call is now. It's something a rabbi does to deaths within Jewish families. So we're going to go and head to the what's it called? Jack Lauder household and see if we can speak to any family members or something. So, the Lauder residence. So this is sort of a map you get, and you can see various things and go across town and pick up your shopping and get some knickknacks. So, I think we'll speak to his wife and call it an episode, because we've actually got quite a bit done. So let's go to Greenwich Village and speak to Mrs. Lauder.
Mrs. Lauder?
Yes?
I heard about your husband. I came to pay my respects.
Oh, you knew Jack?
Let's see. Let's give the rabbinical response, just because we should always act like a rabbi to start with, at least.
Does one need to know a man in order to grieve him?
That's, I suppose not. All right, come on in. I'm sorry, you look so familiar, but I can't place your face. What is your name?
If I wanted answered, she'd have to know who I was. And this, she's not gonna like who we are, let's just leave it at that. This required tact. Well, obviously it would, if you know the background circumstances, which you will in due time indeed. We'll go for an honest response, because we need to be very direct, or she'll call the cops and get our ass arrested.
My name is Rabbi Russell Stone. Your husband used to be a member of my congregation.
Oh, I remember now. You have a lot of nerve coming here.
Let's give an apologetic response. You want to be apologetic, or you can actually lose the game here and get arrested, which is kind of hilarious, but let's give an apologetic response.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
Oh, you're sorry, are you? I'm so glad to hear that. Jack would love to hear that you are sorry.
He knows already, Mrs. Lauder.
Too late, Rabbi, too late. What do you want?
Yeah, there is a very good reason why she's very angry at you, but yeah, I always find it kind of hilarious just how much of an asshole she seems, because you don't know any of his backstory, you don't know anything about Mr. Stone, and yet, I don't know about you, but I immediately looked at her and thought, what a bitch. Let's go for a direct approach, because we should.
I just want to talk about Jack.
Talk? Just came by for a friendly chat? Is that it?
Oh,
stop it. Just stop it. I don't believe this. You threw us out of your temple 8 years ago, and now you drop by for a visit?
It wasn't like that.
Well, what was it then? Can you tell me that?
Maybe this was a bad idea.
Maybe you're right, and yet you're here. Why?
So, direct approach, accusatory approach, or rabbinical approach. We're going to be direct again, just because I feel like being direct and honest with her.
The police visited me today.
Did they?
Yes.
What did they say?
That I'm suspect number 1.
Really? Well, that would make sense. Who else has a motive except for the rabbi who hates us?
So, let's give an accepting approach, again, to sort of make it look like we're on her side, because we don't want to piss her off too much.
I'll let that slide.
Whatever. Jack hated you. That's enough.
Mrs. Lauder, if he hated me so much, why did he leave me $10,000 in his will?
That's impossible.
I said the same thing.
Jack wouldn't do that.
It's a crazy world.
How do you know for sure?
The police told me. I have no love of the police, but I doubt they'd lie about that. Mrs. Lauder, if Jack hated me so much, why did he give me so much money?
I don't know. This makes no sense. None of it does. Who would kill Jack? He was a good man.
Yes, he was.
Don't you start. You have no idea.
The police have no other leads?
Aside from you? No.
How did he die?
I don't see how that's any of your business.
Well, I suppose I'm curious, and I'd like to help.
Help? Why would you want to help?
I don't know. Maybe
So yeah, there's only one option here that won't get you arrested, and this is the one I was talking about. I feel guilty, I feel selfish, I want to make amends. Make sure you click that, it's probably a good idea.
Maybe I'm looking to make amends for what happened 8 years ago.
Why not? Why shouldn't a rabbi play at being detective? You want to investigate, Rabbi Stone? Be my guest.
I'll have to ask you some questions about what happened.
Can't you just ask the police?
They won't talk to me, I'm a suspect.
Fine, fine. Ask whatever you want.
Okay then. So we can ask about various few things, but I think we'll save that for next time.
I'm going to
I'm
leave now.
Fine.
So yeah, I will actually go back and talk to her again.
Rabbi Stone,
Yes?
about 8 years ago, could you just tell me why?
Were you and Jack happy?
Yes. Yes, we were.
Then my reasons don't matter.
Very good answer. But yeah, so this has been Shivah. It's a point-and-click adventure. I thought it was very interesting. I don't know if you will. I can understand why the themes may be off-putting, because it's telling an interesting story, and I don't know, I found it interesting. It was a nice experience for me, but I'll see you next time if you're still interested in watching this. Again, video, so hopefully it'll be in roughly 4 parts across the weekend, and it'll appear like I'm here and not away on magical journeys through time and space. Bye!